Hey everybody, Dr. Dan, welcome back. This is the video you should watch before you read chapter 1 of the book. Hopefully you have the book by now. The chapter talks about Indian peoples, so really Mesoamericans, the Native Americans that were in North America before the Europeans came to conquest in 1492, starting with Columbus. There's also some other cool stuff in the chapter. So it talks about this age of exploration. It talks a little bit about climate change in Europe and in the Middle East. So that's kind of cool. The cradle of humanity, if you will. So read about that. Climate change is going to be a big deal in our history moving forward, and it certainly was back then. The other thing that's kind of cool is this notion of religious wars or disputes between religions. The Muslims had control of the Iberian Peninsula. That's where Spain and Portugal is today. And around 1065, 1085, somewhere in there, Alfonso VI, a Christian, takes over Toledo, Spain, from the Muslims and begins to take back power for Christians. And really that results in a new Christian kingdom in which would eventually fund Christopher Columbus's voyage to the New World. So really, when you think about religion and Muslims and Christians in the context of today, and you look backward, 1,000 years, you see that those same religious disputes were going on back then. And in some ways, there's a direct connection between the Christians taking over and Columbus setting sail on the Atlantic and landing in the New World in 1492. So that's one of the cool things that you can take out of history. You can say, history doesn't really repeat itself, but there are some themes that have been going on for a long time that haven't changed. And as we look forward from, the year 1000 to 1492, all the way up to the present in 2018, it's interesting to see those commonalities. As I said in my intro video, the present is just the developing past, and certainly we see that today. So the other themes in chapter 1, on page 11, there's a mention of Johannes Gutenberg. Many of you know that he's the guy who invented movable type or the printing press. Now, the reason I'm talking about Gutenberg here and the reason he's mentioned in the book is because with the invention of the printing press, information spreads rapidly. So whether it's how to build a ship, how to navigate, maps, that sort of thing, Gutenberg is kind of the first inventor. The book is really the first media, the internet of its day. Before then, there was no way for information to travel. So Gutenberg's a big deal, and it's kind of cool to understand how technology plays in the spreading of information and how the spreading of information allows explorers to navigate to the New World and really change the entire world order. So read about Gutenberg. He's mentioned in there. The other themes, we mentioned religion, we mentioned climate change. On pages 26 and 27, there's a section on men's and women's lives. So think about that, because we're going to talk a little bit about gender roles as we go through this history. So chapter 1, get through most of it if you can, and read about the Caribbean, the mainland, conquest, understand that the Spanish take Mexico, and then as we move forward, you'll understand that the French take the north up to Canada, and the English land in what is North America now. But there's a lot of stuff that has to happen before that. So we'll get into that in chapter 2, chapter 3, but I hope you enjoyed chapter 1. It's an interesting read, and I'll talk to you again next week. Be safe. Take care. Bye-bye.